A lightweight adventure fun-fetty motorcycle that actually gives confidence to those who are quite a noob when it comes to off-road riding. Yeah, I think that would be a sentence that I would use to describe the KOVE 800X Pro. But of course, not everything is perfect. We're gonna go through it. As my gear quite suggests already, I'm quite the off-road novice. I had the chance to try this motorcycle out for 3 weeks in total, and we made many kilometers together. On-road, off-road, bit of both, and we had a lot of fun together. So let's start off with my thoughts on-road riding with this motorcycle. I was surprised by how easy this motorcycle rode on the road. The suspension is very comfortable and you can ride it easily for many hours straight without having a sore bum or a more sore bum than you would normally have. The saddle is very comfortable as well. The braking is pretty decent. The only thing that I had a little bit of a downer on was the throttle response. It's a little bit jerky here and there when you open up the throttle, especially when the motorcycle is a little bit cold. You have to get used to not being as stable as I am used to on other motorcycles. What I also noticed is that this motorcycle is quite quick. It gets you places pretty quickly. The rev limiter comes to play at 9,000 RPM. I did hit the rev limiter a few times, especially when I was still getting used to the motorcycle. What I also noticed is that high speeds up to 150 kilometers an hour are totally fine, but if you get above that, it gets a little bit windy and you're gonna feel some vibration of your helmet. Other than that, it's super quick. It's easy to overtake cars with this motorcycle. It has enough power. All in all, it's a very good motorcycle to ride on road with. So, what did I think of it off-road? Of course, what do you call it? Quite the off-road novice. I don't have a lot of experience when it comes to off-road riding. I have done a training beforehand before picking up this motorcycle. Actually did a little bit of the training on this motorcycle, so I was a little bit more comfortable because I had that training, but all in all that did not make me a pro whatsoever. But nonetheless, I felt comfortable enough with this motorcycle to take it off-road for my first few feet and also ride some off-road roads. We got quite a lot here around where I live, so it's nice to also go on a different type of road for a change instead of tarmac roads. But also here, the jerky throttle at lower speeds is a little bit uncomfortable, especially if you're not as confident on off-road landscapes as other people. I have seen some people that have actually done a remapping on the motorcycle to get rid of the jerky throttle. That seems to work, so that's something to keep in mind. The electronics on this motorcycle are basic, but they work well. So even for me, who's not very good at reading manuals, I can easily put the settings to this motorcycle to my liking and then riding with it off-road or on-road. You simply just can alter the traction control or the ABS settings. Nothing too spectacular there, and it works pretty well. The weight of this motorcycle when wet, so the curb weight, is 185 kilograms. At least this is what KOVE motorcycles themselves say. I have seen some claims over the internet, but to be very honest with you, I have ridden some adventure motorcycles already, and I have to say that I have never felt an adventure motorcycle as lightweight as this one. So it's a very big plus, and it's also a unique selling point of the brand for this model motorcycle. Everyone I have seen that sat on this motorcycle and took it upright, they were actually very surprised. This also makes it a very tempting motorcycle for people that are in the market for a motorcycle and want to go on a solo adventure trip with their motorcycle. There actually is a guy here on YouTube that is doing a solo trip through South Africa with this motorcycle. I will throw him up on the screen somewhere. His username is very interesting to see. He's making many miles on it already and he has had no problems whatsoever so far. Also for the R&D and the parts for this motorcycle, he has had no issue whatsoever. It's a big pro that if you go down, if you tip it over, it's very easy for yourself to put it upright again. That's not something you could say from the competitors of this motorcycle. The seat height of this motorcycle is 875 millimeters or 865 millimeters. I think that's with a different saddle on there. It's not too high, and I myself, with my 1 meter and 75 centimeters, I can easily get on here and I can touch the ground with both my feet. I cannot flat foot it, it's a little bit too high for that, but I can touch the ground with both of my feet. Also something that I can't say I could do with other adventure motorcycles. Honestly, that height gives it a lot of confidence when riding as well. You know that when you have to come to a halt in front of a traffic light, that you can easily put your foot down and have no issue there. Then the engine of this motorcycle, it's a 799cc L-twin with around 71 kilowatts or around 95 horsepower at 9,000 RPM and around 80 Newton meters of torque at around 7,500 RPM. It has a nice sound. Personally, I think it has a nice sound. And like I said before, it gets you places, it goes pretty fast. Braking, it does pretty well as well. It has 4 piston tricycle calipers at the front with 2 floating discs, and at the back it has 1 disc and a 1 piston caliper. It's an upcoming brand. It's not as known as, of course, Brembo, Nissan or all that kind of jazz, but I have had no complaints whatsoever with the stopping power. It can get a little bit soft here and there, but other than that, it's pretty good. A rear front brake all work pretty well. Then let's talk about some features of this motorcycle. Well, it has a TFT display. I also like the way of the display, how it's positioned. It's a big display. I also like the startup sequence of the display when you turn the key. I think there really went some thought in there. Other than that, it doesn't have a lot of tech on here. It doesn't have cruise control, it doesn't have a quick shifter, at least quick shifters are optional. This one does not have it. This one does have some aftermarket extras such as these bark busters, the luggage around here, and I believe it also has some other tires. One of the features also is that it has LED lighting up front and in the indicators and also on the rear. Everything is LED on here, so it's highest quality. However, with the front headlight, I do have a little point of attention for KOVE. I got complaints from people riding in front of me. To be exact, my partner Rick riding in front of me on his Yamaha R1 while I was riding behind him when it was already dark out. Eventually he begged me basically to please pass him because he was being blinded by my LED headlights. Personally, I think that's something that definitely could use some work, but other people are there like, yeah, well, but you're gonna ride off-road with this motorcycle, you're gonna go into the wilderness, you are gonna want big heavy lights. And that's true. I mean, yeah, you're gonna get enough light with this baby. Basically looks like someone put on construction lights or something. It's a lot of light. For riding off-road, great. For riding on the road, might be a little bit too much of lighting. KOVE themselves choose to make motorcycles not by many at the same time. They focus on one model at the time. KOVE really went out and questioned everyone in their target audience for this exact motorcycle and wanted to know more, listen to them and put all the features that and all the feedback that they got into manufacturing this motorcycle. You're gonna see parts of higher quality, you're going to see metals of higher quality. Everything has been done for a reason. The price point of this motorcycle is a little bit in the mid-range. If you're going to be completely honest, in this engine capacity, in this size motorcycle, there's not a lot on the market that are the same price. And that has everything to do with how it's manufactured. It's a Chinese bike. So they're going to have the knowledge from building motorcycles for other brands for many, many, many years. And they have put that knowledge into their own brand. Of course, there are cheaper options on the market when you are going to look at smaller engine sizes. Just do your research and see what is best for you. So what's my final verdict? The weight to power ratio on this motorcycle is insane, especially off-road. It's like nothing else. The confidence it gives because of the weight that's so light is amazing. I had loads of fun on it, even though I'm not an adventure bike girly, or at least not the biggest yet. And also on road, it also feels very steady and stable due to the weight that distributes very low in the motorcycle. Points of improvement are the jerky throttle, for me the LED lighting of up front, and I would also like to see some options like cruise control and some other adjustment that you can do with electronics. Other than that, that's basically it. Hope this was helpful. I am now gonna go, so I will see you guys in the next one. Ride safe, love you, bye. Hello, Doggo.
Hello. Hi, little Doggo. Oh, you got a nice ball. You got a nice ball. Got it.
Got distracted for a minute.